global recession is coming. We have been warned of this for last 1 year. And for the last 1 year, there is also a war raging in the northeastern part of the globe. So the question we ask as this war completes a year, is the Ukraine war pushing the world into a global recession? Hello and welcome to India Today Digital. I'm Anjali Istwal. We bring you 12 shades of war in 12 months of war. While the ongoing conflict in Ukraine has significant political and humanitarian implications, it has not been a direct cause of a global recession. However, it has had an impact on the regional economy and the global markets to some extent. The war has had a significant economic impact on the countries directly involved in the conflict, that is Russia and Ukraine, and those with close ties to the region. The conflict has led to economic sanctions on Russia by the international community, including the United States and European Union, which have disrupted trade and investment flows. This has had a negative impact on both the Russian and Ukrainian economies, with both countries experiencing a decline in GDP and an increase in inflation. Ukraine suffered its sharpest economic decline in over 30 years in 2022 because of the war with Russia. The economy data from Ukraine showed a 30.4% drop in GDP last year, and economic analysts say that the risks and uncertainty remain high, especially if Russia continues to attack critical infrastructure in Ukraine. Russia was also impacted, although not to the extent of Ukraine, or for that matter, as expected. The voluntary departure of many Western companies from Russia and the total break in trade with Europe in energy commodities held back the growth in Russian economy. Before the war, growth of 3% was predicted in the Russian GDP. But as you can see, it was severely restricted and went into negative. While earlier a loss of 7 to 8% of GDP was predicted, it eventually was around 4%. The impact on Russia was due to a combination of reasons, one being sanctions. Western countries, including the United States and the EU, have imposed economic sanctions on Russia. These sanctions have targeted key sectors of the Russian economy, such as energy, finance, and defense. Another reason is disruption of trade. The conflict has disrupted trade between Ukraine and Russia, as well as between Russia and other countries. This has had a significant impact on the economies of these countries, particularly in sectors such as agriculture, energy, and manufacturing. In addition, the conflict has created uncertainty and instability in the region, which has had a ripple effect on the global markets. Instability leads to hesitation of investors, who then reduce investment in the region. It also leads to limited access to the Black Sea ports that are vital for grain and metal exports. Instability also affects companies that rely on trade with Russia or Ukraine as they face disruptions in their supply chain. There is another economic impact that is connected to the widespread death and destruction, displacement of people from their homes, and disruption of economic activities like agriculture. This is the humanitarian cost. The conflict has caused significant human suffering, including the displacement of millions of people and loss of life and property. The humanitarian costs of the conflict have had a significant economic impact on the affected populations, including the loss of income and the need for costly humanitarian assistance. Despite all this, the impact of the Ukraine conflict on the global economy is relatively small compared to other factors, such as the COVID-19 pandemic. While it has had an impact on certain sectors and regions, it is not considered a significant driver of global economic performance or a harbinger of recession. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comment section, and for more news updates, subscribe to India Today.